Tonight we'll take a look around America and try to find out something about young people and old people and sex. Saturday night in America, date night.
There's girls that you date and girls that you marry. I'm a girl that you marry.
For some teenagers, it's the night to party, to hang out.
Well, now it's very open. Yeah, that is mostly why half the people go out just to pick up on each other.
It's the night to make friends, smoke some marijuana, drink a little beer, to get into what's happening. To get into what's happening. To get into what's happening. When I was in high school, Lover's Lane was at the end of a dirt road 6 miles outside of town. For the generation that followed, it was the last row of cars at the drive-in. And what went on in that last row of cars is now playing up on the big screen. To get into what's happening. To get into what's happening. To get into what's happening. What's happening?
Indiana Boys School, alma mater of Charles Manson, is the 6th largest in the nation. To send a boy there costs the state and local governments $8,000 a year, twice as much as it costs to send a boy to Harvard. More than half the children in the Indiana schools have been committed for specifically juvenile crimes. Crimes like running away from home, breaking curfew, or being hard to handle. A major study by New York criminologists tells us that if present laws were strictly enforced, 99% of all children would be locked away.
Why are you here at Indiana State Boys School?
I snuck into a drive-in in the trunk of a car. And they were X-rated movies, for 18 or over. And so, I guess they just kind of got me for that mostly. When I was at the police station, my mom said, she was mad. She said, well, just keep him, do what you want with him.
The schools have failed. The juvenile authorities have failed. The police have failed. The psychiatrists, the social workers, the preachers, everybody has failed.
Sometimes it's slapped in the face, and sometimes it's the paddle.
When they hit you, they make sure it hurts.
There is not enough punishment. There are not enough juvenile delinquents being committed. The schools have failed. The juvenile authorities have failed. The police have failed. The psychiatrists, the social workers, the preachers, everybody has failed. There are not enough juvenile delinquents being committed. There are not enough juvenile delinquents being committed.
They would maybe want to get us on our feet, sit us down, take our shoes and socks off. And they'd have leather straps mostly, or sometimes a stick. And he'd hit you in the arch of your foot, because they say that's the tenderest part.
The schools have failed. The juvenile authorities have failed. The police have failed. The psychiatrists, the social workers, the preachers, everybody has failed. There are not enough juvenile delinquents being committed. There are not enough juvenile delinquents being committed.
3-hour prison sentence that somehow reforms juvenile delinquents? It sounds too good to be true, but just intriguing enough to make me enter this world of thieves, rapists, and killers. But a word of caution. Some of the language is plenty rough. It's crude and it's brutal.
When you wake up in the morning, do you think about maybe I'll have to kill somebody today? When I wake up in the morning, I think about maybe I have to kill somebody today. Is that paranoia? Yeah? For you it's paranoia. For me it's a reality. Yeah? This is prison. This is prison. Nothing in the first place, I don't like you. Man, get that fucking camera out my face. I told you to cut it off. This is prison. Yeah? This is prison. For you it's paranoid, for me it's a reality. Yeah? This is prison. This ain't no playground. We play for keeps in here. The big eat the little. And in here, I'm big. He's big. We're big because we're survivors. You understand?
We are all inclined to believe that our generation is more civilized than the generations that preceded ours. From time to time, there is even some evidence that we do hold in higher regard such civilized attributes as pity, compassion, remorse, intelligence, and a respect for the customs of people different from ourselves. Why war, then?
It's strange that through the years, even the reluctant draftees have usually gone to battle with some enthusiasm for it. Partially, the enthusiasm comes from the natural drama of leaving, a trip to somewhere else, and with the excitement inherent in an uncertain return. And often they're transported to war in a train they've never ridden, a ship they've never sailed on, or a plane they've never flown in, and they go to a country they've never been to.
Great adventure. It's a great adventure. It's a great adventure, with being killed the one drawback to an otherwise exciting time in life.
So that when LBJ says, come here, boy, to my war, we say, hell no, we ain't.
It's a great adventure. It's a great adventure, with being killed the one drawback to an otherwise exciting time in life.
Come here, boy. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. To my war. We say, hell no, we
It's a great adventure.
say, hell no, we
His name is Ripper, and he's an English Mastiff. He's about 10 and a half months old now and will grow to be about twice his size, about 235 pounds. I was robbed 4 times successively and had quite a few things that were mementos that were stolen from me. And I feared for my life because 2 of the robberies took place while I was in the house and I slept through them.
Nowhere is safe in 1974 in the United States. But like I said, You protect yourself by whatever means you see necessary, you know? If you see somebody trying to take you off, you sidestep that. Or you carry something in your pocket to protect yourself. Yes, I do that. Yes, I do that. I have knowledge of the streets and I will protect myself. I have knowledge of the streets. I have knowledge of the streets. And I will protect myself. Nowhere is safe in 1974 in the United States. By what it means you see necessary, you know? I have knowledge of the streets and I will protect myself. I have knowledge of the streets. And I will protect myself. By what it means you see necessary, you know? Nowhere is safe in 1974 in the United States.
It was out on the streets of New York. You know, I was lost for a while. And that was the bad part, being lost in New York all by myself. The circumstances what made it bad. Being in the city, being alone. It was horrifying. It was terrifying. The streets of New York. Was lost for a while. You know, I was lost for a while. You know, I was lost for a while. It was out on the streets of New York. You know, I was lost for a while. And that was the bad part, being lost in New York all by myself. It was out on the streets. It was out on the streets. It was out on the streets. I was lost for a while. And that was the bad part, being lost in New York all by myself.
LSD was first considered a dangerous drug and made illegal in 1965. It's so easy to get acid. You can get it anywhere.
Where there's a little chemistry lab, there's somebody making acid.
Find a new way of living. I gotta find a new way of life. I gotta find a new way of living. Dropping the chair. What you doing with me? Dropping the chair. Dropping the chair. What you doing with me? Dropping the chair. What you doing with me? Dropping the chair. Find a new way of living. I gotta find a new way of life. I gotta find a new way of living. Dropping the chair. Dropping the chair.
The reasons why people do cocaine are probably different than the reasons why people do the other things that they use to alter their state of being. But basically because nobody likes who they are, where they are, or what they're doing.
I got them cocaine blues. I got them cocaine blues.
It's a good feeling. Makes you feel good. Like you just wake up on Christmas morning.
I got them cocaine blues. 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 But it's marvelous. I feel better already. I got them cocaine blues. I got them cocaine blues. I got them cocaine blues. But it's marvelous. I feel better already. I got them cocaine blues. I got them cocaine blues. I got them cocaine blues.
If you feel, well, I'm not all that hot to begin with, then adolescence becomes a very torturous kind of journey in which you have to make your way from a situation where you're cared for and protected, even though you don't think you're all that hot, to a situation where nobody's going to take care of you. You have to take care of yourself, and you have to do it with what you are.
Well, I'm a very moody person. I can go from extremes. I can go from one extreme to the other, usually very quickly, too. I don't think about anything. I try not to think about anything if I'm depressed. I don't want to think about happy things because I'm not happy. But then on the other hand, I don't want to think about sad things that are going to make me worse. So I just Really, I go around in a daze sort of thing. A daze sort of thing.
Once it was love, and we live on a shoestring, but they don't give no mortgage on the castle in the air, on the castle in the air, on the castle in the air.
Some months ago, CBS News broadcast an hour-long documentary called The Second Battle of Britain. It was an extremely gloomy look at the decline of that country, its economic depression, and its psychic depression. In the 8 months since that broadcast, the decline seems to have accelerated.
The British middle class, once the envy of Europe, a buffer against bloody revolution. He held that place in the sun that, it was hoped, the working class would aspire to. Now he is ridiculed by angry young men and kitchen sink dramatists. He always believed that God was an Englishman. But now he is told God is dead. Middle class values are a joke. Today, everything goes. Today, everything goes. Middle class values are a joke. Middle class values are a joke. Middle class values are a joke.
get them fully extended.
I'm not the only poet that's gone crazy. What's a frightening thing?
Extending out, okay?
Yeah.
Then they're gonna be immobile while they're coming out, okay? You're just gonna hang there.
Secret wisdoms foretold. I am radioactive and serene. It is a world of wonder. Off my meds for a while. I get sick. So I'll probably be on medication for the rest of my life, which handicaps me and probably will not allow me to become a monk. To divest yourself of society and stuff, and live the life you want to live. Live the life you want to live. Live the life you want to live. Secret wisdoms foretold. I am radioactive and serene. It is a world of wonder. I am radioactive and serene. It is a world of wonder.
We are now at the point in a broadcast where the idea is to have some kind of upbeat ending. We couldn't think of any.